look at the trade deficit that we have with certain countries, way over $1 billion per country. But with China, it's $1 trillion. And we have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. Now, I'm willing to deal with China, but they have to solve their surplus. We have a tremendous deficit problem with China. They have a surplus of at least $1 trillion a year. I think it's like $1.1 trillion. And I want that solved. And no other president's taken it on. I had to take it on the last time. And then we had a rigged election. No other president's taken it on. And so China is, they say the market's spoken. China is right now taking a big hit because everyone knows we're right. They have to pay tariffs because otherwise we have a surplus, and they have a surplus with us that is not sustainable.
Mr. President.
And we're talking about $1 trillion. You know that, right? We're not going to lose $1 trillion for the privilege of buying pencils from China. I will say this. Virtually every country wants to negotiate. If I didn't do what I did over the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't have anybody wants to negotiate. We would have gone to these countries, you want to talk? And they were, well, we don't want to talk. Now they're coming to us. They're offering things like even Bibi, and this is unrelated because it's a different kind of a relationship, but he started off our conversation today that he's cutting all of the tariffs, he's cutting everything. He's going to get down to a free base. He's going to do things that, in all fairness, other countries, if they said that, would have never even thought about doing it. Now they're offering things to us that we would have never even thought of asking them for because they're experiencing a lot of hurt. And the hurt is that they've taken advantage of us and we finally fought back. Tariffs will make this country very rich. We're rich anyway, but we're rich in a certain way. We have $36 trillion in debt. I want to get rid of it. And we can do it quickly with proper deals. So when countries don't allow us to sell our product, but we allow them to sell their product, when they charge us massive amounts of money for the privilege of going into their country, those days are over.
Fire someone unless you are Laura Loomer, who, as we've established, is questionable at best in terms of her judgment.
I disagree because I think White House staff, key White House staff, presidential advisors are different than mid-level bureaucrats at some far-flung agency.
But you know that national security staff, you know this because you've worked in the White House, that national security staff, a lot of them do stay on regardless of administration because they are detailed from the Pentagon into the national security apparatus so that there is continuity.
It's true.
That's why that happens.
It's true, but it's also true that the president wants to know and deserves to know whether the people who are staffing him on any issue actually support his agenda. That's the thing. By the way, I'll just bring up the phrase, pleasure of the president. When you work in these jobs, that's what you got to have. And you either have it or you don't. Right now, these people don't have it. It's his right to have the staff that he wants. And, that's why we elect presidents, to hire and fire teams and make decisions.
New congressman, but he's been there a long time in a mental sense because he has really done a job and he knows Congress very well. He was with me for 7 years. Brian Jack. Brian, congratulations, Brian. And others, we have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually. Washington.
In the CIA, we didn't give a hoot about democracy. I mean, it was fine if a government was elected and would cooperate with us, but if it didn't, then democracy didn't mean a thing to us. And I don't think it means a thing today. The true goal of the United States government is control. And they feel that if the United States did not control the governments of Latin America, then somebody else would. And the principle of government by the people, for the people, of the people, that is that's just silly.
Bye 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 bye. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Bye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
I was going to criticize President Obama, but you handled it. So, thank you.
They don't pay me.
These books, first of all, seeing that video of Kamala Harris and then these videos of Tim Walz the last few days, man, did we dodge a bullet. Lord have mercy. These books coming out.
Walking into the fire right now,
These
Scott.
books coming out. It can all be told now. I mean, I sat here all during the campaign and was assured Joe Biden was fine. Kamala Harris had the most organic, grassroots-driven campaign. The Democrats were unified. We had a campaign of joy, and everything was hunky-dory. That's what I was told night after night after night. Mm-hmm. And now all the books are coming out, and it's amazing because a lot of the people who were telling those lies are now going to get paid to write those books.
I think a lot of people,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? Just, there's something about and most of us, many of us went to school on the yellow school bus. I was on the bus, go round and round. Imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
So what makes Trump a fascist? What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without
Yeah, talk loud. I don't have my mic on.
I'm not really good into interviews stuff like that.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants and, not following laws or, he's a convicted felon, that's all I know.
But your sign says he's a fascist, and I'm just curious what makes him a fascist.
Democrats are not particularly bright. And we went into the archives. We said, okay, we can show you all the current videos of Democrats not being bright. Is there something old? Is there something out there that's so old that the video doesn't even have color? Did that even exist? A time when things were in black and white that would perfectly illustrate the mindset of a Democrat, and we found one.
This is Mr. Montgomery. I met him a few weeks ago in New York.
Oh, how are you? You live here?
Yes.
Well, maybe you know what a zombie is.
When a person dies and is buried, it seems there are certain voodoo priests who have the power to bring him back to life.
How horrible.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring.
You mean like Democrats?
Bob Hope, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Monday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good as always. Be blessed in Jesus' mighty name. Let me say hey to everybody in the chat on this Monday night. Lady Vu is on. DC941 is on. Hassle-Free TV is on. Vovo 960 is on. Neanderthal Soup is on. USA Abbey Girl is on. Prayer Works 2 is on. LA 106 Times is on. Snag Dog is on. Buckeye Nut 1968 is on. PD Frank 1974 is on. Scooter 8887 is on. Snarl Barkley is on. Shaylin 04 is on. Granite 2468 is on. Mike Griffith is on. D9597 is on. Confederate 1 is on. Lisa Kinzer is on. Guitar Glenn is on. Volvo 960 is on. Shaylin 04 is on. Waterline 46 is on. Bill F1 is on. Malamute Lover is on. Leon Fish Puppy is on. Judy Anita is on. Hanslick Donovan is on. Let me see here. Going down. Big Jim Go Blue is on. The one and only Clean Sanchez is on. Sunwoo 45 is on. Whammy Jammer 79 is on. John Phillips is on. Scooting down here. Richard Perry 49 is on. S. Clark 1968 is on. Scooting down. This whole thing. Oh. It can't be my fault. I mean, it just can't be my fault. It has to be somebody else's fault.
It's Apple's fault.
It's Apple's fault. That's the Apple device's fault. All right, Swethy is on. Salty Gonads is on. Let me see here. Big Scott 1 is on. Goozy 600 is on. Let me see. 11 Car 11 is on. Scooting down. Hit just about everybody. All right, love you guys. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to get deep into, as you could predict, Trump is absolutely smoking his opponents right now. Put it in the title of the show tonight, Trump humiliating his opponents, because he really is. Because today was supposed to be Black Monday. Aaron, was it Black Monday?
Nope.
Supposed to be Black Monday. Everybody loses everything today. All the economies are crashing. The sky is falling. What happened? Nothing. The market, NASDAQ went up a little and everybody else is flat. And the tariffs are in place. They started last Monday. And here we are, the flat stock market. Netanyahu comes in and just kisses the ring. Everybody's kissing the ring, but it's supposed to be Black Monday. So let me just start off with this before I get into the tariff stuff. Just want to show you what Doge is on and about doing. Kind of slipping behind the headlines right now because of the tariff stuff. The U.S. African Development Foundation has terminated $51 million in grants, including, you guys are going to love all this. It's where your tax dollars have been going for the last, 3, 4, 5 freaking decades. Why we're $36 trillion in debt? Really $37 trillion. $229,000 for marketing. 100% organic shea butter in Burkina Faso. What is that and where is that? I don't even know what organic shea butter is, and I don't even know what Burkina Faso is. I'm assuming it's an African country. $84,000 for a business incubator for spa and wellness entrepreneurs in Nigeria. It's where 36. I want to get this right because it's really closer. Aaron, you get whose side are we on? Holstered and the dead clock holstered. There you go. There you go. But I got to have my other sheet on so I can see. So just so you know, there it is. Oh, that's it. Perfect. Thank you. Right there, because nobody needs to see him anymore.
Yeah.
So I just want you to see where this is going. Now there we are. We're only $4 million away from being $36.7 trillion in debt. But luckily, we're spending $239 million for marketing pineapple juice in Benin. Whenever you see like your 40% of your paycheck gone, and you're like, wow, where does all my money go? I just want you to know it's for $240,000 for marketing pineapple juice in Benin. $246,000 for mango drying facilities on the Ivory Coast. $100,000 to increase yogurt production in Uganda. Whew! I can sleep like a baby at night now. $48,000 for a WhatsApp marketing chatbot in Kenya.
Oh my gosh.
$50,000 to train farmers to grow dragon fruit in Senegal. $51 million. And if you are a Democrat today, this is what you stand for, and then this is what you stand for. Right here. In the next 20 seconds from right now, we will have spent another $1 million, according to that clock. And so far, Doge has clawed back nearly $300 billion. And if you're a Democrat, you wanted that $300 billion spent on, let me just pick one out of the 8 things. Let's see, $240,000 for marketing pineapple juice in Benin. That's what it means to be a Democrat, being for spending money on those things and getting mad when the spending stops. Maybe none of it ever actually gets spent on this. It just gets spent on the people who run the NGO who say they spend it on these things. Maybe that's where, i.e., the Bill Chelsea and Hillary Clinton Foundation, who claim to be a charity, but none of this money ever gets spent on charities. It gets spent on the people facilitating the money to charities, which is 36. They bring in $36 million, give away $5 million. So they spent $29 billion to give away $5 million. I mean, $29 million to give away $5 million. Maybe that's really what this world is all about. And by the way, just so you know, it is. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to tariffs now. Set this up with Scott Jennings, the Vigilant Fox video. Scott Jennings just blew a hole in the Democrats' tariff outrage. Play it for me.
I do find it interesting in this conversation, though, about Democrats finding their, free market bona fides all of a sudden. I mean, these are the same party that's been arguing that corporations need to pay higher taxes. I mean, effectively, a tariff is just a tax on corporate activity. That's what it is. And Democrats for years have argued for higher corporate tax rates, and now they're arguing against effectively a tax on corporate activity. I think if I were Donald Trump, I might next week say, you know what? I'll meet you on this. Let's slash the corporate tax rate in half, and it'll mitigate your concerns about the tariffs. I bet you wouldn't find one Democrat who would agree to it, even though it would be an amazing idea.
See, when you're a principled person, it doesn't matter what's going on in society. It doesn't matter what another person believes. You believe in your principles. So the Democrats have been pining for, campaigning for, using as a campaign slogan for higher corporate tax rates called paying your what? Fair share. Now, when these multinational corporations and American corporations are now via tariff going to be paying a higher corporate tax rate because of tariff, which goes directly into national coffers. Does everybody realize that? That anything that's tariffed, which the Democrats always want more money, everybody else, but not their own, to go into the governmental account. That's what they always want, which, by the way, they can all do, and they never actually choose to pay more taxes themselves, which you always can. Did everybody know that? You can actually, if you want to, donate to the United States government. You are allowed to do that. Democrats never do it, though. It's weird. You'd figure if 50% of the country wants everybody taxed more, tax rich more, most of the billionaires are part of the Democratic Party, but they don't voluntarily pay more taxes. They're always saying, everybody, even billionaires are saying on the Democrat side that, I'm always willing to pay more than I'm willing to pay my fair share, but they never actually do. They never actually choose to pay more. Now, when they have the opportunity via tariff for multinational companies coming into the country to pay more, because those multinational companies are also tacitly or directly connected to the United States, so they are really a United States corporation or directly from United States corporations, they have an opportunity of a lifetime because they have a Republican president making them pay, quote unquote, their fair share. Does this make sense, Aaron?
Yeah.
All right. Why are they upset? Because Trump's doing it.
Yeah.
Because Trump's doing it. Then why is it that everybody, I'm talking about whether it's the BBC, whether it's GBN, whatever it may be, all the mainstream sources in the United States, CBS, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, all the rest of them, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, they're always talking about these evil tariffs. Okay, how are they evil? How are they evil now and they weren't evil 1 year ago? I mean, what I'm talking about is this. If tariffing is evil, then why is it only evil if Trump does it? That would be akin to murder only being bad if a certain person does it. Because everybody's been tariffing the United States for decades, and it was never evil. I mean, imagine. You should get up every single day. Every single day, because if you're watching this show, you're red-pilled and you're smart. You should get up every single day and literally get on your knees and thank Jesus that you're not as stupid as a Democrat. You really should. Oh, Lord, I just want to thank you today. I mean, I know this really isn't priority one, worshiping you is, but I worship you in that I'm not as stupid as the Democratic Party. I mean, imagine coming out and you're saying tariffing is evil. I watch whether it's Besson on, whether it's Navarro on, whether it's Rubio on, and they're going to all these different shows, half right wing, half left wing, and they're asked about these tariffs, and all of these leftists are like, these evil tariffs. No, they use the word evil, and they use the word ridiculous and retributive tariffs. They're reciprocal. They're either a portion of the tariff that's already been levied against the United States, or a reciprocal and even tariff to what's been levied against the United States. How were they not? How was Canada's 250% tariff on all U.S. Dairy products? How was that not evil a year ago? You're saying tariffing is evil, but it's only evil if Donald. And by the way, Joe Biden left all of Donald Trump's Chinese tariffs in place for his entire presidency. Why weren't they evil then? That's just my question. I mean, imagine being a Democrat, and that's your argument. You can see here's the list right here. It's the list right here. These are all the tariffs. Why is a 67% tariff from China not evil, but our 34% reciprocal tariff is somehow evil? How does that make sense if you're a Democrat, where Taiwan's tariffs were 64% and our reciprocal was half of that, and ours is evil and theirs isn't? I mean, can you imagine being on that side of the argument? Can you? That's what I'm saying. Get up every single day and say, thank you, Lord. I'm not as stupid as a Democrat. That you're going to sit there and be a Democrat. Tariffs are evil. Then why weren't they evil 15 minutes ago, moron? Or I'm going to use the more popular term, retard. Now, where the heck am I? What's next?
Charlie Kirk.
I got to find it. There we go. All right, Charlie Kirk, back on. All right, breaking Economic Council Director. Here's how it went since Friday, basically. Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett just announced that over 50 countries have already reached out, and it's gotten more than that, to begin negotiations following President Trump's new tariff policies. Play it for me.
I got a report from the USTR last night that more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin a negotiation. But they're doing that because they understand that they bear a lot of the tariff. And so I don't think that you're going to see a big effect on the consumer in the U.S. because I do think that the reason why we have a persistent long-run trade deficit is these people have very inelastic supply. They've been dumping goods into the country in order to create jobs, say, in China.
So more and more and more have already come to the table, because that's an older video. More and more. I think it's last I heard it was 56 countries have already reached out. I thought it was supposed to be Black Friday. I mean, Black Monday. I wish that I had the time to do it, to sit down and simply document and because a lot of times they'll try to take them down later, but a lot of them are too stupid to take them down. Too retarded to take them down. I want to get that back into my verbiage.
Yeah.
Retarded. It never was really taken out, just so you know, because I just never used it before. But since it's so incendiary, I want to make sure that I make it part of my vocabulary again. But anyway, the Democrats, they're again predicting that today was supposed to be the end of all things. I wish I could catalog all of their fake predictions, because they're wrong every single time. I'm surprised that most Democrats don't join the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Mormons or the Muslims, because every single one of their prophecies is completely wrong. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Jehovah's Witness, whether you're a Mormon, every single prophecy is completely wrong, and their book doesn't even line up with history. And yes, I'm talking about the Quran also. Doesn't even line up with history. It's factually disproven. So I'm surprised all of them don't join that, because not one of their prognostications ever actually comes true, ever. It's Black Monday. So, I mean, by the way, it's Ted Cruz, too. And it's Rand Paul, too. And a couple other Republicans, which we'll get to when we get to the opposition section of the show, which, by the way, has now become my favorite, because I like being in conflict. It's carnality. It's not right. It's not pastoral. But I won't do it in my real life, just here on the podcast. I love to just look my opposition in the face. I would love to debate for a living. I would love it. But anyway, all right, Alex Jones video, still on tariffing right now. Opposition, we're getting to our opposition, where I want to look at who we're competing against. I just love to know who we're competing against. Three more videos, and then we'll be at opposition. But anyway, Alex Jones video, still on tariffs right now. Watch the unelected EU dictator publicly, that's Ursula von der Leyen. Watch the unelected EU dictator publicly confess that Trump's tariffs have devastated the NWO economy. Now, we've played this one before, and then, guys, you can play the next one right after this. So, and the next one is a Libs of TikTok video. So we're going to hear her. This was her on Friday. The first video is her on Friday. The second video is her on Monday. Let's see if we can all spot the difference. Play it for me.
President Trump's announcement of universal tariffs on the whole world, including the European Union, is a major blow to the world economy. I deeply regret this choice. Let's be clear-eyed about the immense consequences. The global economy will massively suffer. Uncertainty will spiral and trigger the rise of further protectionism. The consequences will be dire for millions of people around the globe. also for the most vulnerable countries, which are now subject to some of the highest US tariffs. The opposite of what we wanted to achieve. The tariffs will also hurt consumers around the world. It will be felt immediately. The costs of doing business with the United States will drastically increase. And what is more, there seems to be no order in the disorder. At the same time, we are prepared to respond. We are already finalizing the first package of countermeasures in response to tariffs on steel. And we're now preparing for further countermeasures to protect our interests. I know that many of you feel let down by our oldest ally.
You're not allies. You're suing thousands of U.S. companies trying to shut them down. You're censoring America. You're spending billions on record paying for disinformation and propaganda. You're tyranny. You're tyrant.
We stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests.
So again, imagine being a member of the Global Democratic Party, which is the global leftist bourgeois elitist, and you're on Monday, on Friday, everything is dire, uncertainty, no order in the disorder. And then the next day, the next business day, it's we're ready to negotiate. Man, what spines of steel the Europeans have. Dire, uncertain, our greatest ally has let us down. And today we're ready to negotiate. What a bunch of little worms. What does that mean? I just want to know what it feels like to be such a worthless human being. You have absolutely no principles whatsoever. You have no spine, no courage. You don't stick to anything. I'm just curious what it's like. Your lies get exposed over and over and over again. You never retract. You never apologize. You know you're lying the entire time. What does that feel like? I'm just curious. So here was governor from last week. Here was Governor Gavin Newsom really committing a federal offense. Play it for me.
Donald Trump's tariffs do not represent all Americans, particularly those that I represent here in the 5th largest economy in the world, the state of California. We value international trade. We value our manufacturing base, the largest manufacturing economy in the United States of America. We look forward to continuing to strengthen those ties, strengthen those bonds. I'll remind all our international trading partners, California is a stable trading partner, and we hope you consider that as it relates to California-made products.
Okay, that's a violation of the Logan Act. He's not allowed to negotiate trade deals with foreign countries. There's only one person licensed via a federal election to do so, and that would be Donald J. Trump and the Trump administration. That's it. Imagine if Ron DeSantis made that video under the Biden administration. He's negotiating separate trade deals with foreign entities. And right now, today, and this is our first opposition video today, I'm going to go, oh, this is perfect. I didn't even plan it. Trending politics, congressional Democrats have convened. So you have Gavin Newsom trying to orchestrate his own trade deals with other countries. And today, we have the congressional Democrats have convened their first shadow government hearing. Play it for me.
Extraordinary step of convening this unprecedented hearing. We brought together both chambers of Congress, the Senate and the House, to conduct real oversight and to serve as a check and balance, to hold those who misuse power to account and to carry out our constitutional duty. Convening this hearing was not our first choice. We have tried to get our Republican colleagues to hold hearings, to do meaningful oversight, to assert Congress's authority as an independent branch of government. But to our great disappointment, our Republican colleagues have abdicated that important responsibility. They have stood by as the president has run roughshod over the legislative branch and turned Congress into little more than a rubber stamp. So today we'll hold the first of what we hope will be more bicameral oversight hearings. We will do the investigative work that our colleagues across the aisle refuse to do. We will expose the illegality, abuse, and corruption of this administration and within the Department of Justice. We will have brave witnesses speak to what's actually happening behind closed doors, how the Trump administration continues to try to intimidate them from speaking out, and why it matters to Americans across the country. The Trump administration is following a well-worn playbook. History serves as a guide and as a warning. In the 1930s, a Jewish lawyer in Berlin tracked in meticulous detail how Germany gradually became what he called a dual state. First, to keep the country running, the ordinary legal system remained in place for most people. And yet, step by step, a parallel system of governance and law emerged, what one scholar called a lawless zone. A parallel system carry out the will of the leader and to go after his enemies, real or perceived, to punish, to reward, to co-opt, to intimidate, silence, or take over institutions that make a society free and vibrant, the courts, the lawyers, the universities, the press, even businesses.
So American Democrats, Adam Schiff is your shadow government representative, a man who does absolutely nothing but lie, who actually read a fake report, a fake phone call between Zelensky and Donald Trump into the congressional record, perjuring himself. Obviously under oath, perjuring himself. That's your representative is Adam Schiff or not? Well, again, look back in time. What has Adam Schiff ever said that was actually correct? Like with me with Donald Trump, I know I know that he does the Brooklynite, or is it Queens? I can't remember which one. Queens or Brooklyn, wherever he's from in New York City. He does, and I'm not making excuses, lies to lies. He does those various exaggerations. I get it. This is the largest ever inauguration crowd and all that, and who knows whether it was or not. And they supposedly documented that it wasn't. Whatever. I get that. But when Trump said that he was going to lower taxes, he actually did it. Right. When Trump created the lowest unemployment rates for women, for minorities, for Hispanics, he did all of those things. When he said he was going to move the embassy, he moved the embassy. When he said he was going to build the wall, he built the wall, despite Paul Ryan and the Rhino Republicans and Democrats trying to stop it. And he would have built the whole thing if he wasn't fraudulently removed from office in 2020. But anyway, he actually does. You can verify Trump. What Trump says happens almost all the time. Not one thing that Adam Schiff has ever alleged actually ever became true. Right. Ever. Not one thing the man has ever said came true. Oh, there's real evidence, quote, real evidence of Trump's collusion with Russia. Not just circumstantial, real evidence. Over and over and over and over again, which, by the way, he's part of a lawsuit right now. Trump's suing those people for millions, tens of millions of dollars for defamation, which is what has to happen. If we don't do that, like they do to us, they sued Alex Jones into defamation, a CIA-orchestrated lawsuit where you had the CIA bringing together the Sandy Hook families and planting into their heads defamation. Well, you can't defame a dead person, and he didn't. He never defamed anybody. Whether you like or don't like what he said about Sandy Hook, which is a very small amount of things. Don't believe the Max documentary about that, by the way. And they're going to sue us into oblivion. They sued. They didn't sue. Excuse me. Excuse me. Still got a little bit of stuff rattling around in my throat. But anyway, they didn't sue General Flynn into oblivion. They prosecuted him. Being prosecuted is actually worse than being convicted, or just bad because it bankrupts your entire family. He's bounced back now, but it was really, for all intents and purposes, bankrupt several years ago. So if they're going to do that, we have to do that to them. Adam Schiff shouldn't have a dime in his bank account. And he should be impeached. Whether we have the votes or not, he should be impeached for all of his lies. He has perjury on the record in the halls of Congress. Perjured himself, read it in the record, knowing exactly what he's doing. But anyway, so that's our opposition. We have this is actually a shadow government meeting. It's never happened. But I'm not saying it's never happened before because I don't know. But it hasn't happened since I can remember that anybody has actually orchestrated shadow government, which they said they were going to do. All right, so let me introduce this next part to you with something that Donald Trump came out with today. This is from Grok. On April 7th, 2025, former President Trump made a statement on social media urging the United States to take action on an unspecified issue that he believes should have been addressed decades ago. In his message, Trump used the term panicking to describe a hypothetical new political party. He's named them Panicins, the Panickin Party. based on weak and stupid people and encouraged retards and encouraged Americans to be strong, courageous, and patient for greatness to follow. So this is the Panic Party. And their media representatives, they're Goebbels media stenographers. All right, May's video, Jake Tapper was one of the, what we're talking about is, here is our opposition. This is who we're actually facing. It's not impressive. Jake Tapper was one of the biggest spreaders of the Fine People hoax. Play it for me.
You have it? Okay, I'm being told we have it. Thank you. Run it, please.
Excuse me, to protest? Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
That was President Trump saying that very fine people were marching alongside neo-Nazis and skinheads and white supremacists.
I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
This is a president who said there were, quote, very fine people on both sides in a Charlottesville neo-Nazi Klan march in Charlottesville, and his infamous reference to very fine people. There were, quote, very fine people on both sides of that Charlottesville, Virginia march. And candidate Trump, I tried to get him 3 times to condemn David Duke. He wouldn't do it.
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
A lot of people think that he has a soft spot in his heart for, or at least won't condemn, white supremacists.
As I said on Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. We are a nation founded on the truth that all of us are created equal.
And there's this big effort by Trump supporters to pretend that the president didn't say what he said, to call this all a hoax.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That last part was especially, this all just, I mean, Jake Tapper on the whole is a complete disgrace, but the last part is really, is maybe, I don't know which one's the bigger disgrace, but I'll just label it the biggest disgrace, is the biggest disgrace because not only does he lie, I mean, over and over and over and over again. And the reason why I'm showing the thing of this about Jake Tapper is Jake Tapper publicly came out and said he was not a leftist, which we'll show you in just a minute. It was all over Twitter all over the weekend. He's not a leftist. Somebody called him a leftist from the Trump administration. And he goes, I'm not a leftist. Then how? So is Goebbels not a Nazi? Because that's what you are, is you're simply a stenographer for the globalist left of the Democratic Party because he knows that that's a lie. And then not only does he lie about what's on the tape, and he knows that he's lying, then he labels Trump's efforts to expose that Jake Tapper and everybody else is lying about what's on that tape a hoax. Donald Trump's efforts to label what I'm saying a hoax are wrong. You know it's a hoax. Imagine, how do you look at yourself in the mirror? I mean, how do you deal with yourself as a human being every day if you're Jake Tapper? I mean, by the way, this is representative of every Democrat. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? Jake Tapper lies about it. It says Donald Trump said there's fine people on both sides. That's a bold-faced lie. He knows that it is. Trump comes out and labels it a fine people hoax. And then Jake Tapper says that Donald Trump is lying by labeling it a hoax, knowing the entire time that Tapper himself lied, knowing that Donald Trump is telling the truth, and that Donald Trump's attempts to exonerate himself by calling what Jake Tapper did a hoax is actually true. Imagine getting up in the morning and having to live with yourself. I couldn't do it. Not to mention burning in hell for all of eternity, Revelation 21:8, where all liars go straight to hell. I mean, just imagine that. I would love to. If I went on that show, it would be me and Aaron. We'd go in like Rogan and Jamie. And I would be like, that would be a prereq. Like, my guy has to have access to your screen because I want to show you what you did, Jake. Can you explain that to me, Jake? Just explain that to me. Tell me how it is that you're an impartial, non-biased journalist. Explain that to us. It's just like you're supposed to trust judges because they're unbiased, Jeb Bollsberg, and you're supposed to trust journalists because they're unbiased, Jake Tapper. Our entire system, like Donald Trump has been advocating for years, is completely rigged to the left. All right, here we go. Hague video. You can just side-by-side this. You can leave the audio on it, though, Aaron. Hague side-by-side video. These are paid pro-Hamas, anti-American agitators getting off of multiple buses to agitate in Washington, D.C. You know what? Look at that. Let's count the masks. Look, there's a mask. There's a mask.
Oh, my gosh.
There's a mask. And we missed the front part of the video. Well, there's even more masks. So roll back to the beginning. There's another mask. Look at mask. 2025, mask. Oh, peace, you idiot. I'm sorry, retard. I mean, again, here we are outside. I'm not going to get into it because it'll cost me 20 minutes. Mask. Okay, you can bring it back to me. So these are all people that are being bussed into Washington, D.C. Actually, side by side that pic right there, Aaron, would you? By this group called Indivisible, which, by the way, gets paid for via USAID funds. So you and I, to this day, we paid for that rally. We got to pay and be again, it is like literally paying somebody to steal from you, paying somebody to kick you in the crotch, whatever it may be. That's what's actually happening because it all gets paid for by this group called Indivisible, which all has ties to Mark Elias, to Norm Eisen, everybody. I don't know if any billionaires actually exist. Did George Soros actually make his money? Or was he given billions via NGOs or millions, and then that was used in fake financial transactions, i.e. like Pelosi trading, to actually make your millions, knowing where the market's going to go because you have the insider trade? I don't believe in it anymore. I don't believe in anybody on the left, especially, being a legit millionaire. I really don't. I mean, now you actually look at the financial structure of this country. But that's the outfit right now, paying for all this. And it's tied to all these leftist lawyers. We got like Norm Eisen's up to 200 lawsuits now against the Trump administration. Where does he get all of his money from? You and me, NGOs. One NGO hiring another NGO, hiring a Democratic law firm. Every single one of these institutions paid for by USAID or other government entities create these NGOs. We finance our own political opposition, but not anymore. Just an interesting little clip here from no, it's not Hank. What lives TikTok, right?
Yep.
Sorry about the cough, everybody. Yeah, Liv's TikTok video. Protesters at an Indivisible Greater Grand Rapids event. Oh, by the way, this was supposed to be, the Grand Day of Resistance. I can't remember the title of it. They gave themselves a grand title, the Day of Resistance. I think it was on Saturday. You're like, Tom, why don't you know what day it was? Because it didn't impact my life at all. That's why. Not at all. Nothing really impacts my life. I mean, put a mask on. Nah, doesn't impact my life. I'm out. I'm good. But I mean, this was supposed to be the Grand Day of Resistance. It had no impact at all. Nobody even noticed it. They claim millions of people or hundreds of thousands, whatever it is, showed up to these events, which, by the way, that's not the case. People are like, if all these people showed up, then they couldn't all be paid. Really? Because Kamala got $1 to $2 billion for her campaign and ran out of money. That's from paying people to actually show up at her events, and that's what's happening here. But anyway, Liv's TikTok video. Protesters at an individual Grand Rapids event shout, "We kill them." Play it for me.
The people united. We cannot be divided. Because when they try to divide us, what happens? We kill them. Well, no. This is what happens. What we're seeing now. This is what happens.
That's the Democratic Party, though. You find me one video where you find a Republican ever saying that. You won't find it. All right, so here's one of the orchestrators of all these events. This is Norm Eisen video. And this is the people. Now, we get focused on the Klaus Schwabs, and we should. The Adam Schiffs, the tricky dicky little Durbins, those guys, and Jamie Raskin, those are the new shadow government of leaders that would appear. We get focused on these, but what we need to focus on are these NGO-funded attorneys like Norm Eisen, Mark Elias. When Trump tried to knock off our democracy, the judicial guardrails went up, says Norm Eisen. Play for me.
Donald Trump tried to do a knockout punch of our democracy. And in part because of these over 200 court cases, the dozens of court orders that we've achieved, including at State Democracy Defenders Fund, where I litigate, we slowed that push. And that's the first guardrail, the courts, the rule of law. But what we're seeing now is the second and third guardrails of democracy. The treetops, these congressional leaders coming back so strong, political events like the big win in Wisconsin, a 10-point win this week for the Supreme Court justice who was really in a referendum on the popularity of Trump and Musk. They're hated. And that brings us to the third guardrail, which is the public, these mass mobilizations. And the danger with Donald Trump was that he would boil the frog. Jen and I have studied autocracy all over the world for the contrary. And successful autocrats, Hungary, Turkey, they go slow. Donald Trump microwaved the frog. And when you see the crowd at the protests yesterday, at Tesla dealerships, at Republican town halls, these are hardcore conservatives who are turning up to say, hey, you're destroying our economy, you're destroying our quality of life, the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the cars we drive, the homes we live in. It's all getting unsustainable. I think Donald Trump is failing in his attempt to impose autocracy. So watch out. Democracy's coming back.
So what is this destruction? I would love Norm Eisen to notice it's always generalities. It's always generalities. Donald Trump is destroying our ability to make a living, is destroying our sustainable lifestyle. Wow, exactly. Show us, because we know so far gas prices are down. Grocery prices are down. We had record jobs in the month of March. So exactly how is it going downhill? It's supposed to be Black Monday today, and it wasn't at all. Basically, the market stayed exactly flat after Donald Trump issues double-digit increases in all tariffs, basically to all countries around the world, and nothing really happens. Norm Eisen, I would love the specifics from Norm Eisen. I would love the specifics. He can't. He has to operate in generalities because he's an evil, nefarious person who's actually trying to usher in what he says that he's opposed to. He says that he is a purveyor of democracy. He's a purveyor of totalitarianism. Using democracy as a vehicle to usher in totalitarianism. Using democracy as a term to usher in totalitarianism. That's who Norm Eisen actually is. You want to rule the country via judicial fiat, and you call yourself, a advocate for democracy? But that's who's really behind everything, is right there. We all need to find out, where does he get his millions and millions of dollars? We need to find that out. Because I guarantee you, Brett's paying for it, Aaron's paying for it, I'm paying for it, and you're paying for it. Now, here's the ones that really tick me off. I know Norm Eisen is Beelzebub. I already know that. I got it. I expect this little demonic / Gilbert Gottfried voice, credit Aaron Yeager. I expect that. There's going to be a combination of Beelzebub and Gilbert Gottfried every time. I know that. I got that. But here we have on this Nick Sorter video, and it's titled, What the Bleep? Rep. Don Bacon from Republican from Nebraska just announced he will be introducing legislation to block President Trump's ability to levy tariffs on other nations. I mean, again, this is right out of Jude 3 and 4. I felt compelled to write and urge you to contend for the faith that was once and offered and entrusted to God's holy people. For certain individuals whose condemnation was written about a long time ago have secretly slipped in among you. They are ungodly people who pervert the grace of God into a license for immorality and deny Jesus Christ, our only sovereign and Lord. Again, that's Jude 3 and 4. Certain individuals have slipped in among you. Side by side this for me, Aaron, for just a second. And I just want to put this out here. All these guys, they look like this. These conservative little cuck boys. I didn't say it from the pulpit. That's what they are. I mean, what kind of spine do you have? You can't let Donald Trump levy some tariffs for 4 days before you are, again, quote, introducing legislation to block it? I mean, who is it that you are trying to please, you man pleaser? And if tariffs were so bad, where was Don Bacon, apropos name by looking at him, where was he at? If tariffs are bad, then why wasn't he trying to take them down around the globe? Why was he not a global advocate, a global crusader, so to speak, to take down tariffs? If tariff bad, like Orange Man bad, that's the left, right? Now the left is tariff bad. Okay, if tariff are bad, then why weren't tariffs bad in Spain, Israel, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand? Why weren't they bad then? Tariff bad. That's how Don thinks. Oh, Don, I'm Don. I'm a conservative, because I comb my hair to the right and I put on a tie. I say conservative things, even though I'm not one. So here's Don Bacon, of course, speaking to Face the Nation. He won't go on, an actual news site because he won't be any way for him to advocate for these lies because he'll actually be fronted up. Nick Sorter video, Rep. Don Bacon. Play for me.
I know you are introducing companion legislation to what Senator Cantwell just laid out for us. But as I understand it, in the House, Republican leaders have already restricted the ability to rein in changes to the Mexico, Canada, and China tariffs. They tucked language into the continuing resolution. Does that get in your way when you are trying to now claw back some congressional control of tariffs?
Well, first of all, good morning, Margaret. Thanks for having me on. And I enjoyed listening to Senator Cantwell. I support the legislation that Senator Grassley, Senator Cantwell, we have a total of 7 Republicans in the Senate. And I have some beginning support on the House side, which we'll unveil tomorrow. It will be harder to pass this in the House, no doubt. I think if we get 60 votes in the Senate, they'll put pressure on the House to look at this. And if we continue to see the stock market go a certain direction, or if we see inflation or unemployment shift in a bad way, I think then this bill becomes a very viable bill. So it will not pass tomorrow or maybe in the next couple of weeks, but this will be in the queue that we can use. And it's time that Congress restores its authorities here. And the Constitution is clear. The House and the Senate, Congress has the power of tariffs and taxes, and we gave some of that power to the executive branch. And I think in hindsight, that was a mistake.
People like Don Bacon are the real enemy. I know about the enemy, but the worst enemy are people like Don Bacon within our own party. And hopefully the people in Nebraska pay attention. I don't care whether it's Grassley or Don Bacon. And if they saw tariffs were terrible, if tariff is bad, then why is it good to tariff us? How do you look yourself in the mirror every day, Don, appropriately named Bacon? How do you do it? If tariffs were bad, then why weren't you a crusader globally to take them down against your own country? If they're so damaging, then why do you not care if anybody else does them? Well, there's a better way to do it. Then why haven't you ever done it, Don? Chuck Grassley, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, there's a better way to do it. Oh, really? There's a better way? Then why have you never done it?
Right.
Because it benefits you to do nothing. That's why. Because probably Rand Paul is getting money from Kentucky bourbon lobbyists. Afraid to lose a little bit of money to actually perpetuate the market by getting tariffed in Canada. Short-term pain to perpetuate and make the market actually long-term. So listen, Congress used to have the power to levy tariffs. They don't anymore. Sorry. Here it is from Aaron sent this to me. The Trade Act of 1974 and the Tariff Act of 1930 allowed the executive branch, the presidency, to adjust tariffs under specific circumstances, such as national security, economic emergencies, and trade negotiations.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Done.
That's Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, 1962. You're done. Done. Have a good life. Sorry, Donnie. Go back and eat another cheeseburger. All right, here we go. Western Lensman, which by the way I love. Western Lensman video. Here's more on Jake Tapper, and I mean that kind of moron, Jake Tapper. Left, Jake. Here's just side by side for just a second. Left side of the screen, Jake Tapper claiming he's not on the left. Right side of the screen, 3 minutes of Jake Tapper being a leftist. Play for me.
Everyone, especially on your side, on the left, is freaking out.
I'm not on the left. Is it possible that the Republican Party is now the party of deranged bigots. Do you think it's racist to vote for President Trump in 2020? A Republican from Florida who lost his legs, by the way, fighting for democracy abroad. Although I don't know about his commitment to it here in the United States. We go through this every single time Republicans control the House. You guys can't pass legislation. You can't govern. We'll see how much congressional Republicans are willing to meet President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris on this field of decency and normalcy. It's not just President Trump that has been eroding norms of decency and
He's
truth.
had a lot of help.
I hope you don't take this personally, but do you guys have any idea how clownish you look? So Republicans obviously seizing on this horrific tragedy at the University of Georgia. This girl, this nursing student, killed by an undocumented Venezuelan migrant, and they're seizing on this as an example of Biden's failure to protect the American people. It seems like so much of how politicians address these issues is about demonizing the other side on critical race theory, on trans students. I see a lot of people in the Republican Party doing that. There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by either Joe or Hunter Biden. The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. President Trump has gone to, quote, extraordinary lengths to keep specifics about his meetings with Russian President Vladimir Putin secret, even keeping them from top members of his own administration. Take a listen to how President Trump responded Saturday night when asked directly if he has ever worked for Russia.
I think it's the most insulting thing I've ever been asked. I think it's the most insulting article I've ever had written.
The president did not directly answer the question. It's a stunning turn of events. Do you think the president of the United States ever worked on behalf of the Russians against American interests? Though the original protests are about race and the protesters were almost entirely black, and the team owners whom the president was calling upon to fire or suspend those players are almost entirely white, and the president chose to launch this campaign in front of an almost all-white crowd in Alabama. Despite all that, the president insisted that this has nothing to do with race.
This has nothing to do with race. I've never said anything about race. This has nothing to do with race or anything else.
It is 100% true that the president never said anything about race. He did not have to. This entire discussion is about black men protesting racial injustice. One, of course, wonders why, in the president's view, a black man protesting racial injustice by kneeling during the anthem is a son of a bitch, while whites marching alongside Nazis in the Klan to protest the removal of the statue of a Confederate general is a, quote, very fine person. But I digress.
See how he is? I mean, it's bold. I'm not going to get deep into it. We've already talked about it, but just a bold-faced, soulless liar. But anyway, let's go to this one. This is a Spencer Hakamian video. 900 Stellantis workers laid off in Detroit. Now, let's look at how this is portrayed by the media. Play for me.
With Trump announcing new tariffs this week, workers at carmaker Stellantis were worrying about their futures. The company announced Thursday it is temporarily laying off 900 workers at 5 U.S. plants and halting production at 1 each in Mexico and Canada. Denny Butler is vice president of the United Auto Workers Local 685, representing Stellantis workers in Indiana.
We've got a group of 470-some people out there that are starting to worry. They don't know if they need to go find another job or not. That's the frustrating part, because it's our job to be able to help and reach out and guide those people and give them an honest opinion on what they need to do, and we can't. That's the frustrating part.
Trump broadened tariffs to a 10%.
All right, so you see how it was portrayed that Trump's tariffs have caused these Stellantis, which is an electric car company, Aaron told me. I had no idea. It's a company to be laid off as Trump's tariff caused it. They show the workers walking out. 900 people have been laid off since Friday's tariffs. That caused 900 people to be laid off since Friday. How would you even know whether your sales have been affected or not? Because the entire story is a bold-faced lie, and everybody involved in it's a bold-faced liar. Bo Slay was the Bo Slay tweet explaining it. Hey, Spencer, Stellantis has been laying off people for well over a year. And here's just a few examples from 2020 2024. Aaron, who was president in 2024?
Oh, that would be Joe Biden.
There we go. 2024 was all Joseph Robinette Biden. November 6th, 1,100 workers were indefinitely laid off. November 8th, 400 workers faced indefinite layoffs. August, up to 2,400 unionized workers were cut at the Warren Truck Assembly plant in Michigan. So this is all Trump's tariffs causing this 900. Well, so far, under Biden in 2024, the last half of 2024, we're up to 3,000 were laid off. 3,000. December 21st, a planned layoff of 1,100 at Toledo was reversed. Oh, it was reversed until now. See how it works? So it's all just a bold-faced lie. Absolute lie. All right, so let's look at this one here. I don't know why I put it in because all it's going to do is drive me absolutely out of my mind. I really shouldn't have included it, but I included it anyway because, again, this is the opposition section of the show. These are the people who are our opposition. So Johnny Midnight Video, here's Letitia James at the National Action Network going on an unhinged rant using Bible verses. Play it for me.
And we've got to stand together, a stand in community, stand with this great organization under the leadership of our civil rights leader, Reverend Al Sharpton, who has been a light, a bright and shining light in the darkness. But I don't know about you. It's that stone of hope that inspires me each and every day. And listen, faith and fear can never share the same space. And so I'm covered by the blood. And I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. You can come after me, but no enemy, nothing formed against me will perish. Nothing formed against me. Nothing formed against me. Nothing formed against me.
If you're going to quote Isaiah 54:17, it's no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Perish.
You really don't. You want the enemy. You want the weapons formed against you to perish. And not only do you misquote it, you keep misquoting it. You know the thing. No weapon formed against me shall perish. Shall perish. Shall perish. Okay, you're an idiot. You're a fat, retarded idiot. You really are. I mean, that's all she is. Big Tish. Stop quoting Bible verses. You're covered in the blood? How are you covered in the blood when you are pro-homosexual, pro-baby butchering, pro-lopping off of penises, testicles, and breasts of minors, an absolute litigious liar, a perjurous liar? How are you covered in the blood when you have never repented of your sin? I mean, it's one thing to be a leftist moron, but it's another thing to back them up using non-applicable Bible verses. Then when you use the non-applicable Bible verse, you misquote it, and then misquote it again, and then misquote it again. You're not covered in the blood if you've never repented of your sin. From that time, Jesus began to preach and say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Letitia, you need to repent of your lying, of you being a proponent of sexual sin, of butchering the unborn. To whom did he swear that they would not enter his rest, i.e., wouldn't be going to heaven, would not be going to heaven? To whom did he swear that they would not enter his rest? But to those who did not obey. So we see they could not enter in because of unbelief. Hebrews 3:18 and 19. You're going to use Bible verses? Please debate me in the Bible. I would love it. Please do. If we deliberately keep on sinning, after we have received the knowledge of the truth, no sacrifice for sins is left, but only a fearful expectation of judgment and of raging fire that will consume the enemies of God. Hebrews 10:26 and 27. You're quoting Bible verses while you keep on sinning? Well, the grace will cover me. Do we deliberately keep on sinning now that we've received the knowledge of the truth? Absolutely not. That's Paul, Romans chapter 6. I just couldn't help it. That's our competition. Now here's more of our competition. You can just side by side this one. Libs a TikTok video. Just want to show you, here's Democrats staging a walkout to protest what? Civil rights. Is that what it is? And just roll it. And then if I keep talking here, just roll it back to the beginning. Democrats in Georgia staged a walkout to protest a bill which would block taxpayer dollars from being used for sex change surgery for inmates in prisons. That's what it means to be a Democrat in 2025, that you're going to walk out to protest a bill which would block dollars from being used for sex change surgeries for inmates in prisons. Look at all these righteous, virtuous people. We want your taxpayer dollars to be used to lop off male prisoners' penises and invert them into a vagina. And we want your taxpayer dollars in Georgia to be used to sew on fake phallic symbols onto a woman's inverted vagina. We want your taxpayer dollars used for those things. And if you don't, we're going to walk out. That's what it means to be a Democrat in 2025. Here's another one. Johnny Midnight video. Here's our opposition. What would you say to Tim McBride? Play it for me.
And we are here today because while we know that Donald Trump thinks that he can place his hands anywhere, we're telling him, hell no, hands off our Social Security, hands off our Medicaid, hands off Medicare, hands off SNAP, hands off our kids, hands off women's rights, hands off LGBTQ rights. We are here because we know our lives and the lives of our neighbors are worth fighting for. We know that our future is worth fighting for.
Well, first of all, let me just comment on the very first part of the video. He says Donald Trump wants to put his hands on everyone. Believe me. Yeah, give me Trump, believe me if you can.
Believe me.
There you go. He doesn't want to put his hands anywhere on you, Sarah.
No way.
Tim McBride, who calls himself Sarah, that's just a fully penis man dressed up in a girl's pantsuit. That's all he is, really. He's either wearing a tuckums or he might be free flying.
Oh.
I have no idea. Something might be, the Michelle Obama when she was dancing
on
the Ellen DeGeneres show. All I got is a Trump thing, so I don't know. If something's bouncing around in there. Okay, I mean, that's how, I'm serious. There's no way to deny the video. Something's bouncing around there.
Yeah.
If you're a girl, nothing should be bouncing around in there. I had a wonderful woman talk to me at church yesterday, and she says, the thing that I remember that you said the most. And I'm like, oh boy. That can be really bad because I've said things I shouldn't have said from the pulpit. For sure. So I'm like, oh man, what's she going to say? Is it going to be cuckboy Christian? Is it going to be things that I should never have said? Anyway, penis hole. That was another one. You're like, Tom, you said those things from the pulpit. Yeah, I shouldn't have. Okay, I got in big trouble. So I shouldn't have said that babies can never pass through a penis hole. I said that in pulpit. I shouldn't have done it. So
now you're going to make me look up that cartoon.
Oh gosh, yeah, look that up here. So anyway, she said the thing that I remember the most from things that you said was when you said that if you want to find out whether you're a male or female, just simply right now, I give you license. Get up out of your seats here at Foundation Church, walk to the bathroom, hike your pants down, and voila, and it's over. That's the end of it. If you're a girl and you're dancing on Ellen DeGeneres' show, and there's a little gopher in there, seeing whether you can see a shadow or not, you ain't no girl, Mike. So anyway, so Tim McBride in here, he says, hands off my Social Security, Donald Trump. I just want you to. I would love any of these people because they're always making these generalized statements. Give me the specifics. How has Donald Trump touched the Social Security? How has he touched Social Security, Medicaid? Because he said, hands off Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, LGBTQ. I mean, Stephen Miller specifically went out and said, we're not touching SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. So how is Tim McBride saying, hands off, because they're just creating a fake crisis? Like a 99.9% survivable virus that everyone's going to treat like a crisis, right? At least there was a virus that existed. Here, none of this even, hands off, none of this even exists. Donald Trump hasn't touched any of these things. Hands off LGBTQ rights. How's he threatened LGBTQ rights? None. Hands off our kids and women's rights. What has he done to hurt any of these things? Nothing. Not one bit. Here's an interesting one. Johnny Midnight video. Again, opposition. This is Brandon Johnson's Chicago, formerly Lori Lightfoot's Chicago, formerly Rahm Emanuel's Chicago. Run Democrat, 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 Democrat. I know, Aaron, it's 10-10, you win. I said I was going to be done by 10-10. I was still going to be done quick. But anyway, at least I think so. This is what happens when you are under Democratic Party tutelage, Democratic Party leadership for years and years and years, and then complain about it. Play for me.
Look how they taking money at Dunkin' Donuts, y'all. Like, come on, man. What is this?
It's crazy.
Straight bulletproof glass through the whole thing, man. I mean, you can't even breathe on these people. Look how sealed this is. This is a professional seal. Like, you can't even talk to these people barely. Appreciate you, man. Getting up every day and seeing something like this, bro, that do something to your mental up here. It tell you, like, this how you feed animals in a zoo, gang. Like, that's pretty much what it's telling your mentality. Like, I don't trust you. You feel what I'm saying? At what point?
You are watching a modern day version of highway robbery.
The money.
An organized team of thieves on motorized scooters swindling travelers in the middle of rush hour on the Dan Ryan Expressway.
We didn't see any police nearby, so that made us even more nervous.
We caught them demanding $40 in cash in order to pass.
They don't let you turn right unless you pay them the money.
It's kind of an extortion in a way.
Ryan Cawley and his wife Jackie were heading to a Chicago White Sox game when they were surrounded.
I just remember he went around to my side of the vehicle, and he was swearing at Ryan because Ryan had said no. And then at that point, he started swearing really loudly and then started kicking the car.
The scammers pretending to be official White Sox parking attendants.
They had the yellow vests on, and they had a fistful of cash, which gives them, the appearance that they're actually legit.
And they're on phones.
We were a little bit late. So it was like, the game's already started. Here, we need $40 cash. There's no spots left. If you want to get a spot, you got to give me the money now. And I said, well, I don't have $40 in cash. And I thought, the sign says credit debit. I have my credit card. He's like, no, man, that's not how it works. You need $40 cash. This is the last spot left. This is it.
And when you told them, no, I'm not going to pay it, they got aggressive.
Yeah. And I think that was around the time when he went around to the back and just started kicking us to get out.
And we've heard from other fans who have had their cars blocked, kicked, or punched. One woman reported to a traffic aide she was spit on when she refused to pay.
Amazingly brazen, right? I mean, but these are scammers. They're just trying to take your money. They're trying to bully you, get you to stop and roll down a window and take your money.
They can be hard to catch. Watch as a state trooper cuts them off, and they take off the other way down the Dan Ryan.
And we got to make the punishment be there.
The White Sox even put up "Say No to Scammer" signs to try and warn fans only debit and credit cards are accepted in their lots.
I'm going to have to move in, and I'm going to have to censor the chat. You guys are all bringing back all of my old quotes. Censorship. I'm trying to find a couple of them. Be wethy, bend over and spread your butt cheeks.
Yes.
Who said those things? How horrible. From the pulpit. And Brent was like saying, you can't bend over any further. So grab both your butt cheeks and spread them as wide as you can. Yeah. Oh gosh, bad dude. Oh boy. Yeah, not good. All right, again, back to where we were. So we're talking about our opposition. And wokeness video. Yeah, I know, I'm busted. There's no way to hide because it's all on videotape anyway. So I should have Aaron mass delete, but I didn't. So no, I'm just kidding. I'll live with it. Yeah, I try to curtail from the pulpit. I don't cuss. I don't say the S word, F word, A word, D word, nothing. I don't, but occasionally I'll, drop, people with taped up penises from the pulpit. Yeah. That really didn't belong in the pulpit. Okay, podcast is one thing. But anyway, all right, and wokeness video. San Francisco, this is our opposition now, built this toilet for $1.7 million. Play for me.
Tuesday, I went to this famous public bathroom in San Francisco to go pee. The bathroom is famous because in 2020, when the city announced it, they said they planned to spend $1.7 million to build it. The bathroom is literally just one toilet, a trash can, a diaper changing station, and a light. And on the outside, there is a very simple sink with no mirror. And the entire bathroom is made out of cinder blocks. But for some reason, the city said they need to spend $1.7 million to build it. $1.7 million, by the way, is actually more than this fourplex costs in the same neighborhood that, guess what, has 7.
That, of course, is Democratic Party-run city. That's our opposition. Go to the next one for me. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. Tom, she's our opposition? Yes. Right now, yes. Doesn't mean I don't like some of the things that she does, but look, Speaker Johnson and I have reached an agreement to bring back a procedure called live dead pairing, which dates back to the 1800s. Does anybody give two freaking craps about it? I mean, who cares so that Anna Paulina Luna can have baby leave? I don't care about making it more comfortable for congressmen and women. These are not our bourgeois leaders. They are our representatives. If anything, their life should be more miserable than the people they represent. Not made more cushiony. They already have gold-plated insurance. They exempted themselves from Obamacare. And now this is what she's busy doing? It will be open for the entire conference to use you when unable to vote. So if she wants to have absentee voting. No, I don't want her to have absentee. You need to show up to vote. What are the excuses? Parents, bereavement, emergencies. You know, if there's an emergency, you just miss the vote. And parenting, this is talking about having babies. You know what? You're in Congress for 2 years. You can't plan it. I think you can kind of plan if you're an adult when you're going to get pregnant or not. I think if you need help, having that explained to you, then go see a gynecologist. They can explain to you, when you get pregnant. You don't need Republican members of Congress working on the Hill to make it a more plush job for themselves. My job up there as a congresswoman is to make my job better, make my job more comfortable. I want to make myself happier as a congresswoman. We don't need that Anna Paulina Luna. Aaron, you still got the debt clock?
Yeah.
This is what we need you to work on. We actually need you to work on this, not on you being happy when you have babies. That's your business, lady. And by the way, go ahead and have your kid. You know, how long does it take you to come back? You like Pete Buttigieg and his gay husband and they're 6 weeks off? What do you even need 6 weeks off? It wasn't delivered out of your penis hole. I can use it on the podcast. You need 6 weeks off as two homosexual men adopting kids. The transportation secretary off for 6 to 8 weeks. For what? It's the same thing here. Why do you need to be off? I can't say I see it all the time. I see it in people, whether it's been church or whatever else. They have to be off for weeks when they have kids. Why? I've seen women in the church, the tough ones. They have those kids on like a Tuesday. And I'm talking about, listen, sometimes there's surgeries involved, things like that. I'm not talking about that. Don't send me your exceptions. I understand them. I've had 2 kids. I get it. I'm just saying that most of the time, you can be right back at work that week if you had to be. But the rest of the world is. So we don't need Anna Paulina Luna up there as a Republican working on how to make her job more cushiony. We don't need that. We need you to do something about that, Anna. Or you're not going to really need to worry about whether or not you can take a week off, 2 weeks, and how your votes are going to be counted. We don't really need to worry about it because there won't be a country. Here's Michael Knowles responding to this. Play for me.
Historically, it's been much more wealthy, older men who serve in Congress. This isn't designed for young families and for young women especially.
Congress was designed and built for old white men to represent themselves. And, we've made a lot of progress since then. We get into it because we're public servants and we care about representing our community. But there should be some accommodations for family things that come up, like the birth of a child.
It's not like I'm faking, to go party in Cabo, right? Like I'm actually trying to A, recover, but then B, also care for a newborn.
Our job is to represent people, and I'm a 35-year-old woman. All of my friends are going through this problem right now. That is representing people.
American people are not just single, older men. with or without children.
I want to be able to represent my community, and I want to be able to have a family, and it shouldn't be so hard to figure out how to do both.
Do you know how you can tell when you are wrong? Which, by the way, Michael Knowles titled his own video, "With Republicans like this, who needs Democrats?" And, oh, yeah, that's the one I need. So if you that, okay, how do you know whether you're on Anna Polino Luna on the left and you got Brittany Peterson and Sarah Jacobs? Sarah Jacobs, Democrat. Brittany Peterson, Democrat. And now you're sitting there with them, advocating Democratic Party policies during the Trump administration. We don't need to worry about accommodating you because you had sex and got pregnant. Why do we need to accommodate you? Why? Why do we need to accommodate you? Congress doesn't need any more benefits. At least the two Democrats are probably already getting rich anyway via insider trading. We don't need to accommodate you anymore. I just can't stand. It's just a special thing, and you're pregnant. I get it. It's a special thing, but you know what? It's something that basically everybody's capable of. It's not like you're accomplishing something. Certainly aren't accomplishing something for America. And when you're sitting there, how do you know that you're wrong? When you're sitting there in agreement with two Democrats, that's how you know. We need you to be tackling the national debt, Anna. Not doing bipartisan bills with Democratic Party baby butcherers that give themselves right to vote via proxy. No, thank you. No, thank you. We don't care about it. So I just had to throw that out there. The enemy within, her and Dan Bacon, or Don Bacon, whatever it was. All right, that's it, 10:21. Love you guys, appreciate you. Rumble Rants, wow. Female man, 58, $100. Thank you so much. Texas Billy, $50. Thank you so much. Tony Nuthead, $15. Thank you guys so much in the rant. Thank you guys so much in the chat. I love you. Stick around for the post game. Starting about 45 seconds from right now. By the way, it's awesome. You guys stick around for it. Love you guys. See you tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. He's acknowledging his struggle. Those things I want to do, I don't do. Things I don't want to do, those things I do, because I see another law in my members. Warring against the law of my mind, the mind of Christ. Something's warring against it. It's this old mind. It's this old nature. It's this unrenewed soul. Your soul is your feeling, your old mindset. What's made anew the moment of salvation is your spirit. You have to bring your mind with it. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. That renewing of your mind is not going to happen in the service today. You can have a portion of it today, but now what are you going to do? That's why nothing changes. I know you're going to heaven. I'm just saying nothing's changing.
Thank you for watching the Tom Laipply podcast. We appreciate your support. As a special thank you, when you donate $25 or more, you'll receive a free TLP mug. Sip your favorite beverage while enjoying all the insights from our episodes. Your support helps us keep bringing you current events from around the globe. Donate now to claim your mug.
We let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
Love that. I'm obsessed. Oh my god.
It's so nice of you to say.
Yeah. And what drew you to this movie?
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online. I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and it is I have to pretend like, oh God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
I'm a narcissist. They think it's like I'm standing there waiting for the photo op, being like,
well, you kind of are, you know?
no, I guess.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Oh, he is? Hold on, get it out. No, let go. He's not going to, we're going to know it's not food. Drop it. Oh my goodness. You lucked out. Yeah. Did he break it? And close call. Damn it. Really got it hard enough time.
What are they going to do when you say that the world's going to end in 10 years and the world is overpopulated, so to solve the problem, we can't be having as many kids? Just seeing the way that they connect all these issues in their minds makes me really worried, because in communist China, they literally forced abortions onto anybody who had more than one child. Then they sterilized all the women that dared to get pregnant. So women were secretly having their kids and then keeping the kids in little tents and barns in the countryside. So this is not us like freaking out and creating some hypothesis of what could happen. This is actually what leftist regimes do, especially when they start running out of resources. We now have the Biden food shortage coming, and this is a classic step after leftist policies destroy a country. After they had the famine in China, they had no resources, and it resulted in the one-child policy. So this is disturbing. Leftism is evil. It's satanic. And I'm not surprised at all that now they're saying don't have kids.
Look out. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my God. Gosh, dang it. Oh, shoot. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Oh. Dang it.
Look at this guy, Andrew Weissman, on CNN. He's got a big spot at CNN, the legal expert. You ever see this guy?
No.
Anyway, he was a former U.S. attorney, and he made his name by destroying Arthur Andersen, a company that had all these people working for him, an accounting company nationwide, one of the biggest accounting firms in America. He used a standard that wasn't lawful to get convictions on them. Eventually, the United States Supreme Court took the case, and they ruled 9-0, unanimous, that the standard that Weissman used to prosecute Arthur Andersen was an unlawful standard. But the damage was done. That company went bankrupt. All those people lost their jobs. And this Andrew Weissman gets promoted and becomes this legal expert and scholar on CNN. That guy, Fitzgerald, Comey, and people who do this, Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, they ought to go right to fucking jail.
This executive order is for allowing people who are complaining about your tariffs to be permanently labeled as whiny, retarded, sad little.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?